It is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. The name of the band there is called Ginger Red, and that's something from their brand new release called Donuts and Coffee. What a great way to start off a morning. And I want to introduce you to the lead vocalist of Ginger Red. That would be the Mad.
Hello.
Welcome to the Classic Metal Show.
Thank you very much. Hello, guys. Hello, folks. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Well. Do I just call you the Mad, or can I call you Danny?
You can call me Matt if you like.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, what's the story? Well, I guess the most obvious question is what's the story behind the name Mad? Are you mad?
Yeah, I think so. I became the name basically because when I was in high school, we had already a band. When I was 13 years old, and there was another Danny. So Danny is my real name, and we couldn't have two Dannys. So I was reading the Mad magazines all the time, and my bandmates used to call me the Mad, and that's what I became. I became the name. Yeah.
Well, no better inspiration than Alfred E. Newman, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Excellent. Good stuff. Well, obviously you had musical aspirations from a very, very early age. Have you always been a singer?
No. I started with playing guitar at the school band. And, after a couple of years, the singer of the big band of the school were ill. And they asked me to fit in, and I never get back to guitar again because I was making a good show, they said, and so they kept me as a singer. And then I started having lessons, and
Well, at what point did you believe that you could be a singer? I mean, obviously the big band, as you put it, that selected you to be the fill-in, they must have thought you had some potential. So where did they hear of you and think, you know what, she would make a great singer?
I don't believe they thought of me as a singer so much. They needed a entertainer. So I was always, in school, most of the guys were standing on stage and don't move. They wouldn't move. But me, I was playing with the guitar and I would bang my head and I would move from left to right all over stage. And I think that was the first reason they chose me as a singer.
I gotcha.
But I was lucky I could sing, so I wouldn't. It wouldn't be so bad for them.
Perfect. Well, what, and I hate to sound all cliche, but who do you take your influences from? I mean, obviously, you mentioned that the guys would just kind of stand on stage and do nothing. We kind of went through that era here in the 90s with all the grunge bands. They didn't move around much. They kind of stood there, stared at their feet, didn't really put on much of a performance. So where did you get your inspiration to be a little more charismatic on the stage?
Well, as everyone in this business or in this metal scene, I think I started with Iron Maiden and Judas Priest when I was little. And then I came over to Guns N' Roses, Skid Row, but also the hair metal bands like Poison, or I loved Van Halen, and they were all pretty active on stage, I think. And then I went over to a little more progressive music like Dream Theater, or I love Taiketo, for example. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, you mentioned a lot of American-based bands there as well as English-based bands. So what do you think happened here in the U.S. to where we churned out so many great bands that people still remember, but today, not so much?
Well, I think the music has changed a lot, and if you listen to the charts, generally here in Germany, you don't have any guitar music in the charts. It's just electronic music, and people, I don't know if they get lazy to this music or something like that, if they don't want to listen to real music anymore. I don't know, but it's sad that it changed so much in just so many electronic music.
Right, absolutely. Well, one of my favorite female metal singers, and I like to consider her a personal friend, obviously, is Doro. I mean, what's your thoughts on Doro?
Oh, I love Doro because she made it all good for the German metal music girls. Everybody knows her, and she's a really nice person. I'm glad I got to meet her a few years ago, and I very much admire her, and she's a kind of idol, of course. She's in the business for such a long time, and this is such a big inspiration for all of us.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk a little bit about Ginger Red. How did you get involved with these guys?
I was involved with Ginger Red 10 years ago when they started their first album. They had a singer at that time, but they wanted to have a ballad duet. So they asked me to do this, and I did it. It was just a job. It was just a project. And now, 10 years later, Tom, the guitar player and the founder of Ginger Red, he called me, and he said, would you like to come and join us? We are starting a new record with a band. And I thought, yeah, okay. I'll come over to a rehearsal, and what I had in mind was I should do one song, like on the other CD. So I get there, and I said, yeah, you want to have a ballad again, or what? And Tom said, no, we want to make a whole album. And I said, yeah, I know, but what should I do? And where is the singer? And he laughed at me, and he said, yeah, you are the singer. And I had no chance to say no anymore, and that's how it got.
Right.
And that's how I ended in Ginger Red.
Perfect. Now, with this new CD, Donuts and Coffee, did you have any creative input as far as writing any of it, or was it all written and you basically came in and sang it, or how did that work with your band?
No, the most parts wrote Tom and me, because we were a good team on that ballad 10 years ago. We wrote it together, and we fit in perfectly with the melodies and the guitar riffs, and we can work very well together. So the most part Tom and I did, and then the other bandmates, we rehearsed, and then they gave their input. For example, the bass player gave his input and stuff like that, and the drummer. And finally, in the studio, the producer, which is very well known here in Germany and very great producer, he made the rest. Yeah.
I gotcha. Well, where did you learn your musical chops as far as writing music? Are you formally trained? Did you just learn it on your own? How does that work for you?
I haven't have any training on writing music, but if you learn an instrument, I think it comes with from itself. If you're learning an instrument, you learn how to write music, and then if you continue doing it, you're getting better. And I think it's just God-given, or what you call it. Yeah.
Well, it's got to be a passion, right?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Absolutely.
And I did it. I'm writing music now since I was 10.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah.
How about that? Now, when it comes to Ginger Red and in this day and age of the digital downloads and whatnot, is Ginger Red a self-finance band, or do you get some backing from somewhere, or how does that work for Ginger Red?
Most of the things we do ourselves, and we have support from our record company, El Puerto Records. It's a very great company, and they support us in every way we could imagine, and they're really partners from face to face, and that's great to work with them. And we're supported by our fans, of course, when we play gigs. Yeah.
Well, does Ginger Red get their music on any kind of a commercial outlet to be played? I mean, back in the 80s and into the 90s, at least here in the States, obviously a lot of the way that you find out about a up-and-coming band is you may have heard them on terrestrial radio, but terrestrial radio is kind of a dying medium now, and most everything is on the internet. So what do you rely upon as for promoting your new music, your new record, is it all from live performance, or is there some kind of a commercial outlet out there that actually promotes your new music?
Well, here in Germany, it's radio is still a common tool for spreading the music. And so we have this week, on Tuesday, we were at a radio station and we did a live show. It was great. We talked like we both talk now. And many people get to listen to it. But we also have the live shows. And we also have the social media like Facebook or Instagram, for example. We all use it, what we can get.
Right, absolutely. Now, what kind of tours or kind of shows do you guys get? Can you book a club or a venue as a solo band, or is it better to package up with a couple of other bands? How does that work for you?
Well, it depends. We had a release show, which was almost sold out, and we didn't really thought about that when we were playing alone as a headliner with a support band, and that worked very well. But we also want to do some festivals in the upcoming season next summer where we play with other bands. I think it's for a band which is not such a big deal, but it's growing. It's the best thing you can do. Playing festivals, yes. And maybe we're going to play a little tour.
Sure, absolutely. Now, is this a full-time job for you, or is, obviously, people think that if you have some kind of fame or notoriety that, that you're making it out there, but most people, even myself, I do this radio show, but I have other things that I do to make a living. How does that work for Ginger Red? Are you guys full-time musicians, or is this something that you have to make time to do?
Yeah, we have me. I'm no full-time musician, and Tom as well. And the bass player, he's also no full-time musician. But we have two, the drummer and the other guitar player. They are full-time musicians, and they have other bands. They make it for a living. So yeah, we split it.
Right.
But me, I have a regular job that allows me, thank God, to do lots of music stuff on the side. Yeah.
Right. Well, do you ever, get into other areas such as what they call jingle work, where you may sing like in a commercial, or, do some background vocals or some studio stuff, session musician type work? Do you do any of that?
Right now, no, because I'm focused mainly on Ginger Red. But in the past, I used to do stuff like that, yes.
Absolutely. Well, tell us a little bit about this new CD, Donuts and Coffee. Where did the name come from? What was the thought behind, hey, we should just call this Donuts and Coffee? What was the discussion there?
We did the song Donuts and Coffee, which was our first single release, and the song is very strong, and we all loved that melody from the very first beginning, so there was no big discussion to name the whole album like that song. And so, yeah, it's got Donuts and Coffee, and we all had a cover in mind of that, and so, yeah, it was very clear that we used this title.
Absolutely. Well, out of all these songs, tell us about one of your favorite songs and why it's one of your favorite.
Well, it changes sometimes from day to day, because I love all of the songs which made it on the album. But at the moment, it's I love The Edge, because it's, for me, a very, very, very hard based homage on the 80s. So, yeah, The Edge at the moment. But it can change tomorrow.
So would it be fair to say that probably your favorite era of music would be the 80s?
Yeah, definitely, yes.
And who, I know you mentioned some bands earlier, but who would you say is one of your most standout favorites as far as a band is concerned from the 80s?
I would say the early Guns N' Roses I love very much, yes.
Nice. Have you seen Guns N' Roses on their current tour since they, are doing this comeback thing that they've been doing for the last 3 years?
No, I didn't have the guts so far, but I think maybe this summer I join a concert. Yes.
Sure, absolutely. Well, what's the future plan for Ginger Red in the new year? Obviously, we're coming to the close of 2018, and starting a new year. So, do you guys have any plans that you have for the band? I mean, you got any festivals lined up or hopeful tours?
Yeah, we have a new booking agency from our record label, and they are now working at bookings for the upcoming season. So we are waiting for some gigs to come in, and we have some gigs that but not settled, so I cannot talk about it now. But yeah, we are still in progress. We are still working. We are still writing songs for the second album, maybe. And we are definitely doing a second single video release soon. We're beginning the video set next week.
Perfect. Well, may I suggest that the follow-up CD, the title of the new follow-up CD, be called Sandwich and Soup?
Yes. I keep that in mind. Thank you very much. I write it down.
Well, Mad, you've been a good guest here. Is there anything else about this band or about the new CD that you want to tell us about that you want to point out to the fans that I haven't touched on?
Well, no. I want to thank all the fans. Right now, we have much more fans in Germany than in America for now. But I hope that changes very soon, and I hope that we can get to the U.S. and play shows there soon.
Have you ever been to the U.S. yourself personally?
Yeah, I've been there very often because I love that country, and yeah, I would like to go there with a band as well.
Sure. What's one of your favorite places here in the U.S. you like to go?
I love Jacksonville, Florida, because I like the football team.
Okay.
And I also like the West Coast, yeah, because it's nice weather.
Of course. Very nice weather, except when it gets ravaged by fires, huh?
Yeah, that's hard. And my thoughts are with the people who lost everything. That's really worse.
Absolutely. Well, Mad, I appreciate you taking a few minutes to talk to us here on the Classic Metal Show. Where can people find out about Ginger Red?
Well, they can find out on Ginger Red homepage, or mostly stuff on Facebook, because we're posting every day news. And yeah, you can watch out our video on YouTube. And just Donuts and Coffee, have to write in there, and Ginger Red. And you can get our CD everywhere in the US, for example, Target, something like that.
Okay.
You can order it online. Yeah.
Well, speaking of music videos, do you like shooting music videos?
Yes, I love it.
You love it.
Yeah, it's nice, and we always have fun on set with the band. The guys are all crazy. They should all name Mad. But yeah, it's always a lot of fun because we cannot see each other during the week because we live far. We live not near. And so we always have fun when we are together for a few days shooting, yeah.
All right. Well, good stuff there, Mad. And I, wish you good luck here in the for the rest of the year, and hopefully big things will happen for Ginger Red in 2019.
Thank you very much, Bundle. It was a great pleasure to meet you.
Perfect. Well, we're going to play some Ginger Red here on the Classic Metal Show. And since you mentioned The Edge of Time being your favorite song on this disc currently, I think maybe we should close out the interview with that. What do you think?
Okay. Rock on.
All right, well, go check out Ginger Red with Mad on lead vocal. She'll just rip your face off. And the new CD is called Donuts and Coffee. And Well, here it is. This is The Edge of Time from Ginger Red, exclusively here on Your Classic Metal Show.